Here we have Russian handgun. Well, Yugoslavian anyway. This is a Yugoslavian M57 Tokarev clone made in 1964 that I just received from Classic Firearms. You will note that there is no added American safety. Usually they are added here. Sometimes they've been added back here, which is probably the better of the two. What Classic did was to put in a Glock style trigger with a little dingus in here to satisfy the American import laws, GCA 68 laws, and they brought it in, and then it is possible that way to buy a original unmolested trigger and replace it and have a regular gun. I originally wasn't going to replace this thing because I figured, you know, safety's safety, who cares, but after you feel this thing, it's sharp and uncomfortable, so I'm going to go ahead and replace this. The gun is full of cosmoline, or at least it seems to be full of cosmoline. The slide was a little hard to manipulate at first when I brought it home, so I'm going to open it up and clean it and try to put this trigger in at the same time, and you guys can come along for the ride. We have a magazine. The magazines for this flavor of Tokarev are 9-round magazines, and that one looks like it's full of cosmoline. I'm going to have to clean it out too. This will fit a standard 8-round Tokarev as made in Romania or Russia or China or anywhere else with a little bit of stick out, but their magazines will not fit this gun because they're a little bit too short to lock in. So with that out, and let's do the double check here. And all right. So Lipan, let us pull this back and do the usual little relief of pressure and pull that out. Now, this is the first time I've taken this apart, and there you can see cosmoline on this thing. And the slide, oh yeah, oh, is that greasy. Oh my, okay. There is a ton of it there on the slide mechanism. This is my first look on the inside of the weapon. It does look pretty darn good overall, but that cosmoline is definitely there. Now, according to the internet, yeah, you can bend this upward. I may need to get something to pry this with, because otherwise I'm going to end up breaking a nail. Did not have this captive guide rod and spring, which is articulated in the middle here. Okay, there it is. Out that comes. I do have a replacement spring. There's some cosmoline on this. I do have a replacement spring coming for this with a replacement pin that you drive out right here in the center of the thing to disassemble this and put the new spring in, because I don't trust firearm springs that are 100 years old. And then this is the first time I've done this. I just watched some other YouTube videos on how to do it. Off that comes. That's nicely damped with, you guessed it, cosmoline. And then we should be able to take the barrel out of here. What is, oh, it's just the pure cosmoline is really causing this to drag. There we go. Now we get our first look down the barrel, which I'm going to be cleaning here. At the moment, barrel looks like it's probably really good, but it's coated with what I would believe is cosmoline. I don't think you can get that on there, but you got cosmoline here and here and everywhere. Cosmoline in there. Isn't that lovely? Okay, let's set that over there. I want to take the grips off of this thing. Yep. Stuck on with cosmoline. Hey! Alright. And then this one is... Oh, I see. If I had done this one first, I could have just dropped right in there and flipped that. And then I could have gotten to that one a little easier, but live and learn. There that is. And we are coated with cosmoline. There is the replacement trigger assembly. And I think all we need to do is press down on that little guy, and he just sort of pivots out of there. He says, hopefully. Alright. I'm trying to hold this so that the camera sees it. My head stays out of the way. And now, there we go. There's that little guy. And it's ready to be reassembled with the replacement once we get this cosmoline the heck off this pistol. There are about 15 million ways to clean off cosmoline. And the way I'm going to do it, because it's not like it's full of it, it's just coated with it here and there, I am going to use Gum Out Carbon Choke Cleaner. This is not the stuff that has methyl ethyl bad stuff in it. It's mainly acetone, which means it will strip my nails if I get them involved with it, which I will try to avoid, but they can always be repainted. And I'm going to also keep it away from the grips. They're plastic, and the new trigger doesn't need it. So I'm just going to use this and a brush and a rag and see how it works. And the Coca-Cola is a paid product placement. Actually, it's not, but makes a good story. YouTubing to see how you take this firing pin out, and it is apparently, some people say don't try and take it out at all, some people say it's no problem. Seem to make the most sense was you got a built-in tool to do it with, and I don't know how well this comes out on the camera. Okay, what I have right now is the firing pin is depressed and is being held down by that plate. Now, that coincides with a different video that I saw who said to get it to that point and then protect yourself from it and reach in there and pull the thing out. And that worked. Goddess, I hope we can get it back together. Okay, so there is the little retainer. There is the bushing and the fairing pin, and I'm glad I took this apart because there is Cosmoline Deluxe on this thing all over the place. Alright, so that goes, okay, that just sort of sits in there. Alright, I'm really glad I did this, because otherwise I wouldn't be getting all the Cosmoline out of this thing. Okay, I officially give up on that extractor, at least for the time being. I bent one punch trying to get it out, and it just does not want to come out. And I'm not that determined at this point in time, so I'm going to leave it be and just spray the crap out of it with cleaner and hope that I can flush most of it out, because I can see where it's starting to well out. The Cosmoline starting to well out right around in here. And I'll get up underneath the hook on the extractor real good with it and just blast. I've had my share of problems with crap under extractors. Okay, now I have good old hops number 9 here. If it was good enough for Grandpa, it's good enough for me. Now we're going to clean this barrel out and see what we have. Alright, put that in there. Alright, now I normally at this point would run some swabs down it, and I'm going to do that, but being everything considered, I'm going to do something I normally don't do and blast some of this down the barrel. Alright, let's see. Boy, that knocked a bunch of crud out of it, that's for sure. Get in there. Yeah, it came out pretty clean, like I expected. Okay. Okay, with the bore light, you'll see if what that looks like. I can't, that flares if I shine it straight in. But here, let's try. There we go. Just angle the light. There, you can see down the bore. Yeah, it's still not bad, but for an old gun. But it probably is the worst bore in my collection. In fact, I know it is. These. And I'll push this down here somewhere low and get a pin in here. There we go. And then see if the top will come out Yep, it does. Alright. Didn't come all the way out. That's okay. I just want to clean the cosmoline off of this. That in there. There we go. Alright, I don't like firing on an empty chamber too much, but alright, it's all back together. It seems to be fine. The new trigger, the stock style trigger, is in the pistol. There it is. It certainly looks a lot better. I'm real happy with it. The firing pin reinstallation. There's people that say you shouldn't even think about taking a firing pin out of this thing. There will be a link in the description under this video to the assembly video from a guy named Topper, if I remember correctly, that shows exactly how to put the firing pin assembly back together in this pistol. If you know how to do it, it's no problem at all. New magazines are in, brand new from Zastava. They are both encased in cosmoline, just like the original magazine is. I'm not going to bore everyone with yet another cleaning of a magazine that you've already seen. As the late not-so-great Adolf Hitler would have said, I would rather have 3 teeth pulled than to go through that again. The recoil spring and its little pin are here also. I'm going to be making the attempt to install that new spring on the recoil rod in the pistol. The situation with the guide rod and spring has been resolved. I ended up taking it down to the local gunsmith. It was too hard to knock out, and I didn't want to break anything, including my fingers. So I took it down to the Merritt Island Gun Company, and I want to give them a shout out. They replaced the pin, placed the spring for me, peened the new pin over because the old one was peened over, which is why I could get it out in the first place, which of course makes a lot of sense. So I went down there and picked it up today, and they didn't even charge me anything for it. I will remember that because, granted, it was a chicken shit job, but it still took 10 or 15 minutes of a gunsmith's time to do it. And time is money. I've always liked that store, but now I'm really a fan. So I'm ready to put it back together again. I got my ammunition, and I also received some snap caps so I can play with it a little bit, make sure everything runs okay statically. And I even redid my nails after getting them all screwed up from the gum out that I used in the last segment of this. Okay, let's pop this back in here. The other side benefit of this was getting this taken apart was there was still some cosmoline in the assembly. That's all been cleaned out. We'll put a little bit of oil in here for lubrication and corrosion protection. That's probably way too much oil, but it'll drip off. Let's get it set up. Put it in. Go. There that is. Good. Let's put it. Oop. That always happens. The hammer assembly will fall out if you're not paying attention to it. Put that in there. Put that there. Slip that in there. And why? Oh, it fell out because I'm an idiot. All right, put that in there. Don't forget to push this shut. So that's good. All right. Now, I didn't bring my up-lula loader, but to load 5 rounds in this probably isn't too bad without a loader. These are A-zoom snap caps. As always, when working on your pistol, keep real ammunition the hell away from your work area. That's the original trigger. So put this in here and fire it. Fire it. There we go. Fire it. Fire it. Fire it. Fire it. And that's it. All right. Dry run seems to work. We are ready to take this puppy to the range. We have taken this pistol to the range and shot 70 rounds through it. And it shot almost flawlessly. There was exactly 1 round of the military surplus ammunition that I had to restrike by cocking the hammer and restriking it before it would go off. But it otherwise shot well. No problems. Good indentations on the primer, which is hard primer ammunition. It did well. So I need to, that ammo is apparently was corrosive. Anyway, I'm not going to take any chances. I want to break the thing down and clean the barrel out. And look in there. Yeah. Okay. Let me see if I can get that up. Yeah. There's the primer sealant from the surplus ammo. Some more in here. Oh wow, that stuff got all over the place. I had to wipe all that out. Okay, the gun is all cleaned. I flushed it out real good with hot water and sprayed some Windex down the barrel and flushed it out again, then did a normal cleaning, flushed it out again, then swabbed it out real good and oiled the barrel bore twice. I mopped up all the red detritus from the primer seals, and life is good. I'm ready to put it away.